Today on Zero to Awesome, I'm climbing into my attic to get the box with my stock Ford radio in it. Because the one we installed, the one that looks like that, it's a piece of junk. So here we have the Phoenix PX6. It's this very large Tesla-style tablet radio thing, and it's big, it's beautiful, but there's many problems with it. And the first one I'll give you right off the bat. So you hit the power button, and it's broken. Nothing turns on except for that hideous static. The screen doesn't work. You can't. Nothing works. So I've checked the fuses. I've taken this thing apart. I've unplugged everything. I've plugged it back in. I've hit the reset button. Nothing works. This thing is just dead. I bought this. I got a shipment confirmation October 22nd. It's now December 17th. So I've had this thing for less than 2 months and it's dead. So as I uninstall this, I will tell you the other things about it that I didn't like before it died, because I was 2 seconds away from uninstalling this thing anyways, so this really isn't a big surprise or development for me. So in the first video I made about this, right after I installed it, I mentioned that the 360 view camera, like, it really looked stretched. The truck was long. I tried to find a fix for that, couldn't find anything, so that's one little thing that just bugged me right off. And I also wasn't impressed with the screen resolution from the start. It didn't really seem any better than the stock sync screen. And I knew that it could be better because we had installed not one of these, but a similar Android unit in my wife's 4Runner, and it looked way better than this thing did. I played around with a bunch of settings, could never get the screen to look any better. Okay, so the screen is not that great. The truck picture is a little bit stretched, whatever, those are just minor gripes. So one of the things I thought this would be good for is you can, hotspot to your phone, run internet natively off of it, and then you don't have to use CarPlay. You can run your music apps, video apps, whatever you want, right? So it turns out, and maybe this is just an iPhone issue, the only way to get Wi-Fi on the tablet was to first open the hotspot settings app on your phone and then connect it to the tablet. Otherwise, your phone wouldn't broadcast the SSID and the tablet couldn't find it. Supposedly that's a feature and not a problem with the phone, but whatever. So let's say you spend, I don't know, the 15-30 seconds connecting your tablet here to your phone. You're good to go, right? No, after about a minute, it disconnects. And again, maybe that's just an iPhone problem, but you get about a minute from your house and then you're messing with the tablet trying to reconnect the internet. These clips are the worst. Oh, there's that. Okay, so let's say you spend the time to get the Wi-Fi set up properly, right? Turns out that the unit was still slower than your phone. So using CarPlay through the unit worked fine, just like usual. But if you tried to use like the native Google Maps or music apps or whatever, they still loaded pretty slowly. I spent the time to download maps offline to see if that would speed it up. Didn't work. I dropped a screw into the abyss. That was the second screw into the abyss. Where are you, screws? So the Phoenix is slower than CarPlay, right? But that's when CarPlay worked. So the unit came with a couple apps. One was called Easy Connect, and that seemed to always want to run CarPlay, but it never actually worked. So I just wound up uninstalling it. There's another one called Z Connect, and that one probably works like 90% of the time. But other times it wouldn't work at all. Sometimes you could unplug your phone and plug it back in and it would work. Other times it would connect to Bluetooth before you even got in the truck because the unit was like asleep in the truck, but it was still on somehow. And then it would try and connect to wireless CarPlay, which worked about 5% of the time, and it would just sit there and try and load, plug your phone in, nothing. Sometimes you had to restart the whole unit just to get CarPlay to work. So let's say you managed to get CarPlay working. Even when it's working, it's not always working. So if you were in CarPlay, you had a music app going, sometimes you would hit next on the steering wheel, and instead of going to the next song, it would skip over to a radio station. The screen would still show CarPlay. It would think it was doing CarPlay. Your music would still be scrolling along like it's playing, but you'd be getting the radio. And there was no way to get back to any other music source. You could hit all the buttons at the top, you could hit next, play, stop, anything you wanted, and it would not go back. you always had to restart the unit to get your music back on. So I know a lot of these might seem like minor gripes, but over time they all added up to a pretty big annoyance. And I built a computer to go in one of my past cars back in 2006, and that thing lasted for 8 years. It was perfectly fine, and I made it myself. You'd think a professionally built unit like this should last a lot longer than 2 months. Okay, my last gripe was that, and this one may be a little bit controversial, but when you were playing Netflix in the dash and my 1.5-year-old was watching them in the back seat, I wasn't watching them at all, because why would I watch children's shows playing in the dash? You know what? Children's shows playing in the dash, not distracting. 1.5-year-old screaming his head off in the back seat, very distracting. But when he was being pleasant and calm and watching Netflix, up on the screen, of course I didn't see this, my wife saw it, it kept flashing, waiting for hotspot, right in the middle of the screen. Like, what hotspot are we waiting for? Couldn't find any way to turn that off. Didn't bug me. Maybe it bugged our 1.5-year-old. I don't know, he's just said blah, 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 blah. We're not sure. And really the worst part about this is I have to put my camera button all the way back over here. Although we do get our volume knob back and our CD player, because I used the CD player. Okay, so everything's buttoned back up. Let's see if it works. Well, there you go, folks. It wasn't a power problem. It wasn't some wire problem. It was the unit itself. So, what does this mean? I am out of the guaranteed happy within 30 days or your money back window, probably by about 15 days. There is still a 1-year warranty on the unit, so I'll probably get in touch with Phoenix, send it back, get a new one, something like that. Maybe they'll repair it. I don't know. So if after watching this video you think you still might want one, leave a comment below, and if and when I get a repaired or new unit back, maybe we can make a deal. Also, if anybody knows of another big Tesla style unit that retains the Ford app start-stop features, let me know. I might be willing to try it. But so far, everyone I've found other than the Phoenix unit doesn't retain the remote start-stop feature, which is important to me, unfortunately. But I do think there might be another solution to get a big screen in your dash, and it's called a 700-something horsepower 2021 Raptor. So in case you haven't already guessed, we're going to give the Phoenix PX6 a big thumbs down. Do not buy. At least that's my recommendation anyway. And until next time, just remember, Kavit Emptor. See you later. So, small update on the radio since I filmed me taking it out. I've dealt with Phoenix's customer service, which really wasn't too bad considering all the complaints about it. So I emailed in a warranty claim or submitted it on their site. They emailed me back probably like 2 or 3 days later. They asked for a video of what was happening with the unit. Sent them that because I already had it filmed. Then they asked me to connect this red wire here to the yellow wire in this harness, which I believe is the battery power, and see if it turned on. Still did not turn on, so they sent me a shipping label. So I'm going to send this guy back. They're going to send me another one, and I'm probably still not going to put it in my truck. So if anybody wants this, let me know. And hopefully the next one works better than this. See you later. Again.